Frank Walker begins the story by recording a broadcast and telling viewers about the day he discovered a countdown predicting the end of the world. According to the machine, Earth would soon be consumed by wars, famine, pollution, and political chaos. Before he can continue, Casey Newton interrupts him and begs him not to make people lose hope, asking him to tell the hopeful part of the story first. Frank then remembers his childhood in 1964, when he traveled to the New York World's Fair and entered a competition for young inventors led by David Nix. Frank presents his invention, a jetpack designed to help people fly when they are late, but the device is still unstable, so Nix rejects it and tells him to come back when it actually works. Frank tries to convince him, insisting that he is close to success, but Nix refuses, and Frank leaves, disappointed. Outside, a mysterious little girl named Athena keeps watching him, impressed by his determination. Without explaining anything, she tells him to follow her and hands him a strange pin. Frank secretly follows her through the fair and sees her enter a small ride with Nix. He climbs into the next car, and halfway through the ride, a laser scans the pin and suddenly opens a hidden passage beneath the attraction. Frank is pulled underground and arrives in a dark, enormous place. Ahead of him is a sealed chamber, and as soon as he enters, a recorded voice announces that he is about to be transported. The room closes around him. Everything begins to shake, and when Frank opens his eyes, he finds himself in a futuristic world unlike anything he has ever seen. Towering robots surround him, and one of them instantly repairs the broken jetpack he had been carrying. A moment later, Frank wakes up standing on the edge of a bridge, almost falling to his death. But his repaired invention suddenly activates and saves him. Using the repaired jetpack, Frank flies through the air until he reaches a gigantic, futuristic city. There, he finds Athena waiting for him beside David Nix, who is pleased that Athena brought him there. Athena takes Frank by the hand and shows him the city, explaining that it is a hidden world where the greatest scientists, inventors, and dreamers have been gathered to create a better future without war or suffering. Whenever they find someone intelligent and ambitious, they bring them there. Frank is about to continue with the tragic part of the story, but Casey interrupts and begins telling her own. Since childhood, Casey Newton has loved space, stars, and science. In 2015, now a teenager, she sneaks into a launch site where her father Eddie works as an engineer. The program is shutting down, and after the final mission, Eddie will lose his job. Angry about this, Casey secretly sabotages the machinery every day, so the launch will keep being delayed and her father will still be needed. Unknown to her, Athena has been watching her all along, and strangely has not aged at all since meeting Frank 50 years earlier. The next day, Eddie discovers the sabotage, but tells Casey it will not change anything because the company will simply replace the damaged equipment. Frustrated, Casey later sneaks back to the site one more time, but this time she is arrested. A mysterious person pays her bail, and when she goes to collect her belongings, she discovers a strange pin among them. The moment she touches it, the world around her transforms, and she briefly sees a different, futuristic place. Shocked, she lets go, and everything returns to normal. She touches the pin again and again, seeing the same vision every time. Although she has no idea what it means, she decides to keep it and carries it wrapped in paper so she can avoid touching it. When Eddie comes to pick her up, Casey ignores his lecture and asks him to touch the pin, but he sees nothing at all. Realizing that only she can activate it, Eddie takes the pin away as punishment. That night, Casey sneaks into her father's room and steals the pin back. When she touches it, she returns to the strange world, but suddenly crashes into the wall of her own house and realizes that only her mind is inside that place, while her body is still at home. Wanting to explore safely, she steals her younger brother Nate's bike helmet, hides the pin inside it, and sneaks out to a large open field where she can move around without bumping into anything. There she wanders through the futuristic city, amazed by everything around her, and notices that none of the people there can see or hear her. Eventually, a countdown appears on the pin, giving her only 2 minutes before she is pulled back. She follows a group of scientists, but when the time runs out, she suddenly wakes up in the real world and realizes she has wandered all the way to a lake. Back home, she wakes Nate and asks for the password to their father's computer so she can search for information about the pin. She finds an ad for a nearby toy store offering to buy strange pins like hers, so she decides to go there. She asks Nate to lie to their father and say she went camping with friends, promising that one day she will take him to the city of the future. The next morning, Athena suddenly appears at the house. Nate is shocked because she somehow knows his name and everything Casey told him, so he accidentally reveals where Casey has gone. Meanwhile, Casey reaches the toy store, where she meets a man and woman who own the place. They are alarmed when they see the pin, but agree to explain what it is if she tells them where she got it. The man, Hugo, explains that the city she saw is a hidden future world where scientists, artists, and brilliant people are gathered to build a perfect society free from greed, politics, and war. But when Casey refuses to say where she found the pin, the couple suddenly lock the store, pull out strange weapons, and fire one into the ceiling to prove they are real. Casey insists she found the pin by accident, but they do not believe her and begin chasing her. Suddenly, a strange device lands in the room and freezes the couple in place. Athena appears and reveals that she threw a time bomb designed to stop time for a few seconds so they could escape. Unfortunately, Casey's hand has been frozen too, so they are forced to wait until the effect ends. When the couple unfreeze, Athena quickly attacks and kills them. Casey is horrified until she sees wires and machinery inside them and realizes they were robots. Athena explains that their systems are about to explode and destroy the building, so she grabs Casey and runs. They steal a car and race away, while Casey demands answers. Athena tells her that she was the one who gave her the pin years ago, but then Athena suddenly malfunctions, revealing that she is also a robot. Terrified, Casey opens the car door and jumps out. Athena jumps out to chase Casey, but before she can reach her, a car hits her. The driver rushes out to check on Athena, giving Casey enough time to steal his car and drive away. Moments later, Athena wakes up unharmed, runs at incredible speed, catches up to the car, climbs inside, and steals the keys, so Casey is forced to stop. Athena finally explains that in Tomorrowland, they built a dangerous machine, and ever since then, everything has gone wrong. She says she has been using the pins to recruit people who might help them, and she chose Casey because she believes she is the one person who can save them. Reluctantly, Casey agrees to listen. Along the way, she stops at a payphone and leaves a message for her father, promising she has discovered something important and will explain everything when she returns. Athena then tells her that if they want to reach Tomorrowland again, there's only one person who can help them, Frank Walker. Later, Casey falls asleep while Athena drives. At the same time, the police arrive at the destroyed toy store, but soon David Nix and his agents appear. Nix sees the destroyed robot bodies, and when the police begin asking questions, he uses a strange weapon that instantly makes them disappear. He then orders his men to tell Governor Nix that Athena has been found. Casey wakes up when Athena throws her out of the car and drives away, leaving her in front of Frank's house. Casey climbs over the fence and is frightened by what looks like a vicious guard dog, only to discover it is just a hologram Frank installed to scare people away. She knocks on the door, but when Frank sees the pin through his security camera, he presses a button that blasts her backward. He comes outside, and Casey tells him Athena sent her because she wants to go to Tomorrowland. Frank angrily replies that Tomorrowland is finished and refuses to help, then goes back inside. Casey refuses to leave. Finally, she sets fire to one of the tractors in his yard, forcing Frank to come outside. As soon as he does, she sneaks into the house and locks him out. Inside, she is amazed by all of Frank's inventions. She finds an old recording of him as a child with Athena in Tomorrowland, then discovers a strange room filled with machines that monitor the entire world, along with the same countdown Frank mentioned earlier. Frank eventually gets back inside through a secret entrance and explains that he once lived in Tomorrowland, but years ago, he built a machine capable of seeing Earth's future. What it showed was so terrible that he was expelled from the city. While they argue, they see on the security cameras that David Nix and his agents have arrived. Nix says he has come to kill Frank because he broke the agreement between them. Frank then reveals that they once allowed him to live, only if he promised to forget everything about Tomorrowland. Nix and his men have come to kill Frank because he hid Casey in his house after everything she and Athena did. Frank seals every entrance, but Nix's agents still break in. Fortunately, Frank has filled the house with traps, and one by one, he uses them to take out the intruders. Then he drags Casey to his bathtub, presses a button, and the bathtub transforms into a rocket that launches them into the lake beside the house. Athena arrives and picks them up in a car. During the drive, Frank angrily asks Athena where she found the pin, since all the others were destroyed. Athena admits she secretly stole a few, and that Casey's was the last one. Frank still has not forgiven her for never telling him she was a robot when they first met, and he warns Casey that Athena is capable of fooling anyone. Athena is hurt by his words, but says nothing. Frank has lost all hope that Tomorrowland can be saved, but Athena insists Casey is special, just as Frank once was. Frank then takes them to a hidden time capsule buried underground. Inside is a strange machine that transports them somewhere else. After a few moments, Casey opens her eyes and discovers they are inside the Eiffel Tower in Paris. Frank bribes a guard so they can enter, then explains that the tower was secretly built by famous inventors like Nikola Tesla, Thomas Edison, Jules Verne, and Gustave Eiffel, who were also the founders of Tomorrowland. The Eiffel Tower is not just a monument, but a hidden portal. Frank activates a device. The tower splits open and a giant rocket rises from inside it. At the same moment, more robots arrive to kill them, so the three quickly board the rocket, which launches them through another dimension and finally brings them to Tomorrowland. Casey is amazed to finally see the city she has visited so many times through the pin. Nix immediately takes them to Frank's old machine, a device capable of showing Earth's past and future in perfect detail. To everyone's surprise, Casey understands the machine almost instantly. She first looks 3 days into the past and sees herself sitting with her family. Then she looks into the future and witnesses disasters, wars, and the complete destruction of Earth in only 58 days. Horrified, Casey asks why nobody warned the world. Nix coldly replies that only Earth will be destroyed, while Tomorrowland will survive. Casey suggests bringing everyone there, but Nix refuses, saying that if too many people came, Tomorrowland would become just like Earth, full of greed, hatred, and politics. Casey insists she will never allow that to happen. Suddenly, the vision changes from destruction to a beautiful future full of trees and flowers, but only for a second before turning back into disaster. For the first time in years, Frank begins to feel hope again and begs Nix to at least try to change the future, but Nix knocks him unconscious. When Frank wakes up, Athena is beside him, explaining that Nix plans to send them all back to Earth. Casey sits nearby, devastated, but still determined to stop him. While they talk, she suddenly realizes something. She asks Frank how his machine was able to show the future from so far away. Frank explains that the machine sends out a special energy signal. Casey finally understands that the machine is not showing the future exactly as it will happen, but only one possible future. Worse, it spreads negative energy across Earth, making people unconsciously believe the world is doomed and encouraging them to give up. In other words, the machine itself is helping create the disaster it predicts. Casey confronts Nix and tells him the machine must be stopped, but he calmly reveals that there is no way to shut it down, making it clear that he is the one who wants Earth to end. Strangely, David Nix admits that Casey and Frank are right. He says he spent years trying to change Earth's future and convince governments to act, but no one listened. In the end, he decided that Earth deserved to die, so Tomorrowland could survive alone. According to him, humanity has become hopeless and self-destructive. Even though people know their world is collapsing, they do nothing but wait for the end, so he believes he is simply putting them out of their misery. Frank pretends to agree with him and says he wants to say goodbye before returning to Earth. But when he shakes Nix's hand, he secretly activates a device hidden in his own machine, which is connected to the main control system. At the same moment, 2 of Nix's robots attack Casey and Athena. Frank tells Athena to use the bomb he gave her earlier, but because she is busy fighting, she throws it to Casey instead. While Casey climbs to the top of the machine to activate the bomb, Athena takes control of one robot, destroys the other, and throws it through the portal. Frank and Nix become trapped outside the portal until Athena finally reopens it. Casey manages to throw the bomb away before it explodes and destroys them all, but the closing portal crushes Nix's leg. Suddenly, Athena sees a vision of the future and realizes that within seconds, Nix will grab his gun and shoot Frank. She runs to save him and takes the bullet herself. Her systems begin shutting down, and while Casey grabs the gun from Nix, Frank rushes to Athena. He wants to carry her to the repair room, but Athena tells him there is no time. Before she dies, she finally admits that even though she is a robot, she truly loved him. She says she never told him because she wanted him to focus on his future instead of her. Frank and Casey are both heartbroken. Athena then reveals that her body is designed to self-destruct, and she begs Frank to throw her into the machine so she can destroy it forever. With tears in his eyes, Frank does what she asks. Athena explodes, destroying the machine at last. A piece of the collapsing structure falls onto David Nix and kills him. Later, Frank and Casey decide to rebuild Tomorrowland and create a better future now that Earth has been saved. Casey's first action is to use the portal to return home and tell her father, Eddie, and her little brother, Nate, everything that happened. She promises that one day she will bring them to Tomorrowland. Over the next year, Frank and Casey rebuild the city and create new robots to continue Athena's mission. They send these robots to Earth with pins, just like Athena once did, so they can search for creative, hopeful people and bring them to Tomorrowland. Casey was right all along. Once the machine was destroyed, the disaster surrounding Earth disappeared. More than a year passes beyond the day the world was supposed to end, and nothing bad happens.